Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we argue about how to pluralize Legos. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as I am always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We are going to be talking about the news from the week, including Super Mario Legos and E3 being canceled. And then on Thursday, we're going to be answering a question about where to start with Nintendo stuff, and we will be discussing the Indie Showcase. But Mark, in the meantime, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to be with you, Patrick. Kind of.
So this is a first. This is an NCS first. We are not in the same room recording this show.
That's right. We are social distancing ourselves away from each other.
Which is hard because it is I'm very used to you just coming over on Monday night.
100%.
It just feels right. Like you should just be here.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand we're doing the right thing. But it does feel weird, and I think it's okay to acknowledge that it feels weird.
Yes, but hopefully for the listener, it is a seamless experience.
And if you see some seams, like try to be understanding. Okay?
Right? Yeah.
Speaking of other places where we are seeking your understanding, we are going to put a temporary freeze on the Sonic Forces borrowing program. And not just because over FaceTime it's impossible for Mark and I to say our email address the way that you're used to hearing it. But also because
we thought about it. We really thought about it.
Yes, it'd be too hard. But if you want to send us an email, Mark, I'm just gonna say it.
I think you
okay?
have to. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I'm with you. I'm there saying it with you in spirit.
Thank you. If you want to get on the list to borrow my copy of Sonic Forces, you can email us at nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com. And you can give us your mailing address, and we will eventually send you Sonic Forces. Right now, it doesn't seem like a good idea to be sending a little packet of disease through the mail. So we're not going to do it for now. But it's still a good program.
It is still a good program. I fully support it, even though I couldn't say the email address.
God, it was heartbreaking. Also, I realized that even just saying it by myself, like the word felt weird in my mouth without hearing it echoed.
Okay, all right. In April, we're doing another retro month like we did last March. We're going to be playing through the classics of the Super Nintendo, except for the first Super Mario World, which we've talked about to death. So first, on April 2nd, we're going to be talking about Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. And for that, we would love for you to send in your most memorable moments from the game. Anything really you want to talk about, The Link to the Past, send in to us. You can email us. I'll go ahead and read the email address this time. It is Nintendo Cartridge Society @gmail.com, and it is very weird to say the first part of that.
So that's coming up first, and then the rest of the month we are going to be playing Super Metroid the next week, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island the week after that, and Star Fox the week after that. But that's not till April, so Mark, let's get into what we've been playing this week. So I continue to play Murder by Numbers, which I only love more the deeper into it I get. I'm in the middle of the third case right now. We were talking last week about how sometimes you just want to be doing like the Picross puzzles, and you're like, yeah, the story, it's also fun, but it's like a different gear, a different kind of fun. And I really like how the game, as you gain detective levels in like by solving puzzles, that you get access to more just puzzles to solve for Scout's memories. So it's been really nice kind of choosing when I want to just do puzzles, and just do the scout memories. But also the third case is super fun. It takes place at a gay club and it's got drag queens. It's amazing.
I've been playing Murder by Numbers too. I have also been really enjoying it. I like being able to go to like Scout's memories and just do the puzzles. I'm wondering if it's just because I've been playing on easy instead of normal that can't unlock all of the puzzles for case 1 or case 2.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so I think you like by the time I get to the end of any of the cases, I'm level S. And I think that is because like when you finish a puzzle, it shows like a difficulty level and like how many hints you used. And I have yet to use a hint, and I'm playing on the normal difficulty. So yeah, maybe to unlock all of them, you do need to be playing it at regular difficulty.
Oh yeah, because I definitely don't think I've ever earned enough points to be level S. But also in the beginning, in that first case, I was really lackadaisical, where like, and I don't know if it does this in normal mode, and maybe it was giving me a penalty for all those times. But like, if you make a mistake, like you're saying, yes, this is a spot I should fill in, but it's not. It's like, oops, you got it wrong. That's an X.
Oh, that's interesting because like I'm playing on normal and with no hints. And if I mark a square wrong, there is no penalty. But like or it won't tell me right away at any rate. Like I can finish a puzzle with mistakes in it and then it just doesn't end the puzzle. Like I'm just wrong and have to just delete everything and start over again.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not how easy is at all. Easy tells you when you made a mistake. So I'm guessing that's why I'm not able to like earn enough detective points to level up far enough to unlock
Mm-hmm.
all of Scout's memories.
And then we are both playing A Link to the Past on our own. Mark, where are you playing it? Are you playing it on Switch?
I am playing it on Switch. Um I I'm sad to report that my Joy-Cons I think are like in a downward spiral.
Oh no.
So, yeah, it's actually the same thing that happened to me with my first pair of Joy-Con. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong or if my Switch is defective or the dock is or something. But basically what has happened is that when I have my Joy-Cons connected to the Switch and the Switch is in the dock, it seems like it's like overcharged the Joy-Con or something. And so
Hmm.
they don't really hold a charge anymore. I can keep it
Oh, weird.
connected. Yeah, if I connect it to the Switch and then take the Switch out of the dock, the Joy-Con will like charge for a little bit. But as soon as I take them out of the dock, within maybe like half an hour, 45 minutes, they're out of battery again. So,
Wow, that's wild. Because like I mean, I play mostly with a Pro controller, but I don't think I've ever experienced a low battery warning on a Joy-Con, like
yeah,
ever.
this is the second pair of Joy-Con that it's happened to. And so I don't know if
Hmm.
I'm doing something
It
wrong. I
sounds
feel
like
like
you're the
I'm
problem. It sounds like you're the
it does. I
problem.
mean, I am the common denominator. Well, that along with my Switch and my dock. But I just don't. I feel like I'm using it the way it's designed to be used, so I don't really know what's happening. But
Hmm.
anyways, to answer your question, yes, I'm playing A Link to the Past on my Switch.
I have been playing it on my Super NES Classic, which I dragged into the bedroom because it's so small, and I can just play it on the TV in the bedroom. And we both Sarah and I are working from home right now, which means that we're just right on top of each other all day
Mm-hmm.
because we don't have a lot of space. So yeah, both the bedroom and the living room have become like work slash just existence spaces. So yeah, Super NES is in the bedroom now. I realized
Yeah.
that I have 4 different machines on which I could be playing this game because I've got the Super NES, Super NES Classic. I've got the Super NT and a Link to the Past cartridge. I've got the Switch, and I've got my new 3DS, and they all have a Link to the Past on them. Every single one.
I really like playing A Link to the Past in handheld mode. It looks nice on the TV, but in handheld mode, it's like the perfect device because the screen and the game just like looks so good, but the resolution like of the game itself
Yeah,
works, I feel like, so much better on one of those smaller screens.
totally. But we will have more thoughts on A Link to the Past, obviously, in a week and a half. That's what we've been playing this week. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week.
All right. I mean, it is the week. Friday, March 20th, Animal Crossing New Horizons is released on Switch. Finally
This
here.
Yes. This feels huge. I don't know why this feels as big as it does. Does it feel huge to you too, Mark?
It does feel huge. And part of it is just because, like, to this point, it's the only Nintendo game with a date on the calendar.
Which is
And
insanity.
it feels like something we've been waiting for like months. Oh, because we have been.
Right. Well, because it was originally supposed to come out last year, and I don't. They didn't have like a hard date or anything. But we had assumed it was going to be out in 2019. So these last couple months have been just like we haven't had a big new Nintendo release, and now we finally get it. Are you excited to pick up Animal Crossing?
I am. I really have liked the games in the past, the handheld games in the past, mostly the DS one, Wild World, and New Leaf. I thought was excellent. So I'm really excited to see, what this like hybrid version looks like. The only other console version I had played was City Folk for the Wii, and that was a huge disappointment to me. But this feels more like what a real Animal Crossing should feel like. So I'm really excited. Also, it just feels kind of like perfect timing in the sense that
Yes.
it's just like a big like comfort game. So I'm really excited to dig into it.
Yeah, I mean, Animal Crossing always sort of presents the like mundane fantasy of you get to own your own home, which is already already something that I'm like, oh, that sounds wonderful. But also just like the ability to visit friends now, I'm like, yes, that seems great.
Yeah, 100%. And then also on March 20th, Doom 64 is released on the Switch eShop.
Is that something, because we've talked about it just like a little bit here and maybe more as like a curiosity, but you were really into the last Doom, especially the Switch port. Is Doom 64 something you are interested in, maybe interested in picking up later?
Maybe interested in picking up later. I am interested in picking up Doom Eternal, which is releasing on other platforms on the 20th, but I'm going to wait for Switch, I think, because I'm going to have Animal Crossing to play, and I would rather have kind of like something to look forward to on my Switch.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. All right, well, those are the new releases. Let's close that out. Now it's time for a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance of 433, Mark and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, today we have unfinished business.
433 first.
That's right. A 433 part 2. Also, I don't know if it is a first. Didn't we also break up the one where we were trying to name all the Marvel movies? Wasn't that a two-parter?
That's right. No, you're right. We did. This is definitely not a first.
So we are ranking sitcom catchphrases. And last time we were just able to name a couple, and really didn't get into ranking them at all. So now we are going to get back into the nitty-gritty of actually ranking the following catchphrases. They are, I'm the baby, gotta love me, from Dinosaurs. Did I do that? The old Steve Urkelism from Family Matters. Bazinga from
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory, thank you. How Rude from Full House. I Carumba from The Simpsons. Whoa from Blossom. And Lucy, you got some splainin' to do from I Love Lucy. And of course, we removed That's What She Said from The Office because Michael Scott's relationship to it is too complicated. It's it's too post-ironic for us to even deal with.
Yes. We can't handle it even in a 433 part 2.
No, and we would need a 433 part 3 in order to pull that together. So Mark, what are you thinking here? Which of these is the best catchphrase? Or which one is the worst? Which one are you like, I don't need that?
So I don't particularly care for Lucy, you've got some splaining to do.
Okay. Is it because it like rides a little, first of all, there are two things that suck about it, right? One is that it's leaning a little bit on his accent to be like part of the catchphrase, which isn't fun. And then the other half is that like he's maybe threatening his wife. Right?
I mean, maybe.
I guess, to be fair, she does frequently have some explaining to do.
So yeah, I would put that one down lower. For sure.
Okay, I'm also gonna say that we should put "I'm the Baby Gotta Love Me" down low. And I love the baby from Dinosaurs in like a totally ironic way, and loved it sincerely when I was a child. But it's so annoying.
Look, it is really annoying, but which other one of these has like an entire literal song around it?
Okay. I knew you were going to bring up the music video to "I'm the Baby Gotta Love Me." When is the last time you watched this thing? Because it's a train wreck from start to finish.
I have no illusions of it being good. I'm not saying that.
Well, then how are we ranking these things?
I'm not saying that the music video is high quality. I'm not saying. Okay, we have to get through this. We only have 4 minutes and 33 seconds. Okay, so yeah, fair, fine. "I'm the Baby, Gotta Love Me" down low.
We can put it above Lucy, You Got Some Splaining, but yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna say "I Carumba" is maybe at the top.
Oh, just okay. All right. We can put I Carumba near the top. I also feel like Did I Do That?
Oh, you're right. Do you know what? Did I Do That is probably a better encapsulation of the character than I Carumba is.
Okay, so we'll go Did I Do That at the top, then I Carumba, and then the bottom is
I say Whoa comes next for its versatility.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Which means then we just need to place Bazinga and How Rude. I'll confess that I prefer How Rude to Bazinga, even though they're both insufferable and like display the worst qualities of these characters, right?
I've definitely seen more episodes of Full House than I have Big Bang Theory. So I think that's fine.
All right, so here's what we're doing. Our final ranking is coming in at number, how many of these do we have? 7? Number 7, Lucy, You've Got Some Splaining to Do. Number 6, I'm the Baby Gotta Love Me. Number 5, Bazinga. Number 4, How Rude. Number 3, Whoa. Number 2, I Carumba. And at number 1, the best sitcom catchphrase of all time is "Did I Do That?" from Steve Urkel. We still have a little bit of time before this performance of 433 is over.
We are committed to the bit.
That's right. We shan't talk about Nintendo until it is over.
To be fair, we're not saying that these are the best. Oh, well.
I guess we'll never know. We will never know. We were accompanied today by an ensemble at the Musical Instrument Museum in Phoenix. All right, Mark, let's get into the news.
So this seemed like really big news when it happened last week, but now it seems like a million years ago. And now it's just kind of commonplace. The ESA announced that E3 2020 has been canceled. The gaming conference is normally held in June in Los Angeles, and Nintendo normally goes all out for it. But this year, none of that is going to be happening.
Well, I mean, maybe like the show, yes, is definitely not happening. Nintendo is not going to set up a booth that looks like Breath of the Wild Part 2 or whatever. But you have to imagine that we're still going to see video presentations from a lot of different publishers, but especially from Nintendo, right?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, even yesterday, Microsoft uh through I why am I blanking on it? I can't remember what it's called, but basically through a website just completely blew out what the next Xbox is going to be like all the specs and everything. And they're still talking about it
Hmm.
like it's coming holiday 2020. So, yeah, I would expect them to do some sort of big digital presentation as well. And it just makes sense. I mean, the Nintendo Direct format has worked so well for Nintendo, and I know we've seen like PlayStation try to do a little bit of it with State of Play and all that kind of stuff, but now feels like an opportunity for these companies to really do like a polished online presentation.
Yeah, and not just an opportunity, but like it's necessary, right? Like there's no other outlet for it right now. We saw GDC canceled a couple weeks ago. Um and it seems like at least for the foreseeable future, we can't count on any of these big conventions actually happening. Or can we? We have a news story coming up later that suggests possibly otherwise.
Um, Talking about E3 still, a statement from Nintendo reads in part, quote, "We'll continue to be flexible and redirect our efforts to other ways of keeping our fans up to date about our activities and products. Because of the COVID-19 outbreak, large industry events may be untenable for the foreseeable future, but we are considering various ways to engage with our fans, and we'll have more to share as the year continues."
Yeah, so like, one of the things when like Sony was saying that they were pulling out of E3, or it would, because they pulled out last year. But when they were saying that they were not coming back for a second year in a row, was that they were going to be like kind of doing their own events, and like in-store kind of things. And obviously that's not a solution for this, because it's not as though Nintendo is avoiding E3 because it is an event they don't want to partake in. It's because like the idea of events is it can't be done right now. But so it's I think important to like remember the distinction between those things.
Yeah, for sure. And also, like you were saying, Nintendo hasn't done a live event at E3 for years. And so, potentially they could still do a direct around that time and still do like a Treehouse Live type thing, depending on what the situation is.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I would bet that they do a Tuesday morning Nintendo Direct, like the Tuesday morning of the week that would have been E3. Um, like it's if it ain't broke. But they could also they could surprise us. I also think that we will see the ESA kind of do like make an effort to corral these videos together, and maybe like host them on like one channel, or like I think they're still going to try to make that week mean something and still kind of brand stuff as E3. And I think media coverage will also still refer to it as like the week of E3, or like I think we're, even though the convention itself is canceled, I think we're still kind of going to be calling it E3.
That would be fun. I hope that happens. It does kind of make me wonder what the future of E3 as this big convention is in general. The past few years, E3 just hasn't really felt the same with, Sony not participating in EA and Microsoft's participation being a little bit different. And, last year they had all of that data leak around
Yeah.
press, and the ESA just hasn't had a great year in general. And so I do wonder how much they like come back from this, or if they do take the year to really figure out what E3 should be, or like, because to me, splitting the difference between like a fan convention and an industry convention just wasn't really working.
It's confusing.
Um,
Yeah.
so hopefully they can kind of figure out how to balance that better, or just like pick a side. Like if you want to have it make it a fan convention, I don't really know that it needs to exist, but at least like go for it, at least try.
Yeah. The real thing that has been like consistent through the last like 2 years of like the sort of backslide of E3 is that I've been in attendance the last 2 years. So I will take full responsibility.
Also, around the COVID-19 pandemic that's going on right now, the Nintendo New York store announced that they were closing for the foreseeable future. They had been trying to do like, limited hours and just having a few people in the store at the time, but all of New York City is pretty much just shut down at this point.
Yeah. Yep.
However, we did get an announcement for an Indie World Showcase, which will be happening this morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time, so possibly over by the time you're listening to this. It's going to be 20 minutes long, and we'll be talking about all the news that comes out of it on Thursday.
This is exciting. Increasingly with like the gaps between like big Nintendo releases, I loves me a good indie on Switch. So yeah, bring them on. Show me what the things I need to be excited about.
Yeah, I also think the indie worlds are interesting because I feel like Nintendo has checked so many of the boxes of the outstanding indie games that weren't on the system. And so now at this point, a lot of times they're games that are completely new to me instead of games that I had heard about on other systems finally coming to Switch.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also kind of interesting around this Indie World Showcase is that last week, VentureBeat published an article reporting that they heard that an Indie World Showcase was happening this week. So check mark for that. And they heard that a standard direct would be the week following, so would be happening next week. So maybe we'll get a standard direct next week.
Look, it has been we're in a standard direct drought, right? We are entitled and we expect to have a standard general Nintendo Direct in January or early February at the latest. Will we take it in the middle of March, the end of March? Sure, we'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Does it feel a little bit crazy that it'll be the end of March, potentially, before one happens? Yes, but we will take it. We will not look a gift direct in the mouth. Gamescom has also not been canceled yet, but its German gaming conference... Oh, the German gaming conference has the benefit of taking place later in the summer, August 25th to 29th. So they have a little bit more time to see how things develop. In a statement on Twitter, the show's organizers explained that everything will proceed as originally planned for now, but that they will, quote, follow the recommendations of the responsible authorities regarding major events, evaluate them on a daily basis, and make their decisions after careful consideration.
Yeah, so this is really just one of like they're not ready to say and also like no one knows what the world is going to look like at the end of August.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And so it still very well could be canceled. We'll just have to see.
Yeah. Last week, Nintendo and Lego announced a special line of Super Mario Legos with a commercial. Mario isn't a minifig like those classic Lego minifigs, but has displays on his eyes, mouth, and chest, which change based on what pieces he's standing on or interact with. This looks really cool.
So it looks really strange. It does look cool. I wonder, and like I definitely want to get my hands on it and play with it. But I don't like. It's not a game, right? And it doesn't like interact with a video game in any way. But like it does interact with itself, and like the Mario is like kind of a machine. Like I don't know, it's all very confusing. I don't have my head really wrapped around it yet. Do you?
I mean, I think you're
it's
describing
a toy.
toy. I think it's just I think it's just a toy. I mean, like, so the commercial shows multiple sets at use at the same time, so you can like link the levels together, like it's almost like a Mario game. And they showed off like Shy Guys, question blocks, Goombas, flagpoles, piranha plants, pipes, Bowser Jr., and Yoshi even. It just looks it feels to me different from what we've seen Lego do in the past. I admit I'm not super like into Legos, so it's possible that this is something they've done with other franchises. But it's not what I was expecting when I saw that they were making like Mario Legos.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the big departures is that Mario is not a minifig. That like the characters aren't like crammed into that Lego shape. They're really letting like the Mario part of it drive the way this looks, in a way that like isn't. Normally, they let like the Lego brand override that, right? And it seems like the Mario brand is almost the bigger part of this here.
Yeah, I mean, Miyamoto and just Nintendo in general has talked a lot about how they're looking to expand the places that Nintendo IP show up. There's the big partnership with Universal theme parks and Illumination Entertainment for a movie. And, I feel like this is just another pillar of that. Maybe in the past we would have seen Nintendo try to make something like this themselves and just release it as a toy or as, like you're saying, something that connects to the Switch. But instead, they're
Yeah.
basically working in close partnership with a third party and leveraging what that like company does best.
Yeah, so it'll be cool to see what this actually ends up being, when it actually comes out, and what it costs, because we don't have any of that information now.
Hmm.
There was
Polygon
also
is reporting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
it's so I didn't include this in the news roundup here, but there was also some interviews with the guys who are actually like doing like designing the Lego sets, and they said that they were that this was like the beginning of their relationship with Nintendo, that they'd been working on the Mario design for 4 years, and that this marks just the beginning. So we can expect to see other Lego sets with other Nintendo IP at some point in the future. And that's look, I just want to play with a Zelda set of Legos. That seems great to me.
And of course, the inevitable Star Tropics and F-Zero sets.
Of course.
Yeah. Polygon is reporting that Ring Fit Adventure is completely sold out. In a statement provided to Polygon by Nintendo, they say that they are aware of the issue and working to rectify this problem. But of course, there hasn't been any timeline given to establish or any timeline given on these restocks, partly because it's, difficult to manufacture things in China and then difficult to get them shipped to the US. It's just a difficult time.
Everything's difficult right now, but exercise is always difficult. So they need to get these things out so that we can, because neither you or I picked up Ring Fit Adventure when it came out.
No.
And I won't say that I'm kicking myself for that now, because like I usually end up going in for the dumb Nintendo peripheral things, right? But I didn't this time. I showed some restraint, and now I'm unhappy with my restraint.
I am enjoying seeing the kind of like continued popularity of this game because I like when Nintendo's weird experiments succeed.
Yes.
And when Ring Fit Adventure first came out, it was like, this is almost too weird. Like the video was so strange, but the product is apparently beloved and amazing. So it's like fun to see these little experiments succeed.
Yeah, agree. Especially when something like Labo is like didn't totally light the world on fire. Like it's cool that they have found something now.
The Switch continues its rollout in mainland China. Yesterday, Super Mario Odyssey and Super Mario 8 Deluxe were officially released in the country. That makes 3 Nintendo first-party titles that have been officially released. The other one being Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, which was a launch title when the Switch was released in mainland China officially.
A new Super Mario Brothers U, Super Mario Odyssey, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a killer lineup. Those are 3
yeah, it's not bad.
Great games.
And finally, Metacritic published their top 40 game publishers list based on the scores given to games released in 2019, and Nintendo ranked number 3 on that list.
So a quiet congratulations to Nintendo.
I mean, yes, a quiet congratulations. This this list kind of confuses me in the sense that they're averaging all of the games that a publisher published that year. So if a company released 2 games and they averaged out to, like I mean, I guess that's still good, but it just seems like a kind of a strange list.
Yeah, their metrics are weird. Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. Here's how they explain what they did. They say, we have ranked these publishers in order from best overall game quality to worst using a points-based system based on 4 factors. Number 1, average Metacritic score for all games released in 2019. Number 2, percentage of scored products with good reviews. That's at least a Metacritic score of 75. Percentage of scored products with bad reviews, 49 or lower, and number of great titles, a Metacritic score of 90 or higher. So, like, if you have more, like a bunch of 190 is going to count more than like a couple 80s. You know what I mean? Because it is a great title.
Oh, yeah. Metacritic is out of control with the way that they weight stuff and the way that they just like arbitrarily seemingly assign number values to things. But this is an interesting list, and I think we should go through it.
Okay.
So the number 1 publisher was 505 Games, publisher of Control and Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Number 2 was Activision Blizzard.
Oh, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that Control, like both Control and Bloodstained are like high profile, and like maybe Control wasn't as highly anticipated as Bloodstained was, because that is a game that was kickstarted like a million years ago and is like the return of Castlevania. But Control wound up on a lot of people's like best of 2019 list. So like that is those are 2 very good examples of just good games from 505.
Yeah, for sure. Number 2 is Activision Blizzard. They publish games like Sekiro, Overwatch on Switch, and Hearthstone expansion.
That one's a little weird, don't you think?
Yeah, I do, because it's like one's a port, one's an expansion, which all right, sure, I buy it. Number 3 is Nintendo. Even though no Nintendo game got over 90 on Metacritic last year, they had a bunch of 80s like Fire Emblem, 3 Houses, Super Mario Maker 2, Luigi's Mansion 3, and Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 is Paradox Interactive, who? Publisher of Age of Wonders Planetfall. What?
Yeah, this is what, like, reading through this, just this one makes me realize that there is a whole world of games outside of what I'm interested in that I'm just not even aware of at all.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Number 5 is back to something I know and love, Capcom, publisher of Resident Evil 2, Monster Hunter World, the expansion that came out, and then Switch ports of Resident Evil 6. Can't imagine that helped him a whole bunch, and Devil May Cry 2.
I bet the port of Resident Evil 6 was at least scoring like that's a mid 70s game. Like, that makes sense to me. Not great, but good.
Number 6 is Annapurna Interactive with The Outer Wilds and Telling Lies. Number 7 is Xbox Game Studios. Also included in the games that they published this year is Ori and the Blind Forest Switch port. Number 8 is Humble Bundle with Slay the Spire. And then Square Enix with Final Fantasy 14 Shadowbringers and Dragon Quest 11S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition.
Okay, now this is one where I have to pump the brakes and go, what, to Metacritic? Because this is a list of publishers, right? Square Enix did not publish Dragon Quest XI-S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition. Nintendo did.
Yeah. This is where I think we just have to embrace the system. If we're going,
right.
we just have to love the list for what the list is.
You're right. Don't try to change it.
And then number 10 is Devolver Digital with releases such as Downwell and Ape Out.
And Ape Out is a good game. I liked Ape Out. So I thought I was going to be more hyperbolic than that, and then I was like, no, come on, you didn't love Ape Out. It was good. It was fun. All right, Mark, let's get out of the news. Okay, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Remember, please rate and review and subscribe on Apple Podcasts if you like the episode. Share it. That helps us out tremendously. And thank you so much for sticking with us as we figure out how to do this thing remotely. I think we're doing pretty good. Mark? Yeah?
Yeah,
he
like
agrees.
A Metacritic 10 out of 10.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but we don't trust Metacritic. Make sure you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MKE Mitchell, and the show is at Nin Cart Society. We also have a Facebook page, which is just Nintendo Cartridge Society. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying thank you for listening.
Have you ever encountered an unexplained hairy bipedal hominid in the woods?
Have you received telepathic messages from an unidentified aerial phenomenon?
If so, then you need to listen to Bigfoot Collectors Club. I'm Michael McMillan.
And I'm Bryce Johnson.
And together with super producer
Riley Bray,
we make up the Bigfoot Collectors Club.
That's right. Every week we talk to actors, comedians, writers, and paranormal experts about their personal paranormal histories and share stories of high strangeness.
Like the time when we talked to Craig Ferguson about the Loch Ness Monster and when a sea witch told him he had raven magic.
Or the time I asked Pitch Perfect's Anna Camp her opinion on cattle mutilations. Past guests have included Rachel Bloom, Jen Kirkman, Paul F. Tompkins, Bobcat Goldthwait, and more.
So if you've ever been abducted alongside 5 reindeer by an alien with drills for hands or witnessed Bigfoot crawl out of an interdimensional portal,
Don't laugh, happens all the time.
then check out Bigfoot Collectors Club on Campfire Media or wherever you get your podcasts.
Bigfoot Collectors Club. You're here to believe us.
wait, is that how it goes?
Campfire.